You are all welcome to class. How was our weekend? You are all welcome. Our class will start by 12. This is to allow others join the class. So we have 6 minutes left. So when it's 12 on the dot, we'll start the class. You're welcome. We are all welcome to class. This is GST101, and I am Dr. Yetunde Abumere. Last week, we took the Module 1, and we looked at listening, who a listener was or is, and listening enabling skills. I'm sure you still remembered what we looked at. So today, we'll be looking at listening for the main idea. We'll be looking at listening for interpretation and critical evaluation. We'll look at effective reading, and then skimming and scanning. So this will be our focus for this class. And I'm going to start the class since it's 12 o'clock already. Listening for the main idea. Now, the training so far in the previous module, especially in the last unit, has been centered on listening for retrieval of general and specific information. Information retrieval is important, but another important aspect of listening comprehension is to be able to give importance to the different layers of information you receive while listening. Obviously, not all information is of equal importance. So when you are reading, you have to sift what is important, what is not important. There are some things that you listen to that are not important. For example, if you go to the market to buy something and people are having conversation and it doesn't concern you, will you listen to what they are saying? It's only the one that the person you are standing for, maybe the thing you want to buy, that's where the person you will listen to. So you will have to know what is important and what is not important. Some pieces of information are more important than others. In this unit, we will learn how to determine main points or main ideas from speeches, lectures, and talks. So let's delve into the course proper, or the unit proper. Perhaps the most important thing in listening comprehension is for you to be able to determine the main idea of the lecture, seminar, or tutorial. You need the main idea to be able to determine the major points to put down as notes. It's not everything you write, like we said in our previous class. It's not everything. You only sift what is important. It's only the important thing that you write. You also need to know the main idea to be able to know what to study during examination. If you have the main idea of a lecture or a seminar, you can easily develop it during an examination or assignment. A common mistake for you is to want to learn everything, both facts and fables, main ideas and supporting details that you yourself can provide during examination. So when you are reading, focus on the main thing. It's not everything. There are facts, there are fables. We have said that in our previous class. Facts means things that are based on the truth, while fables are story. For example, if they say in Africa it's raining gold, you know that's a fable. It's not a fact. But if we say things like it rains in June, you know that is fact. So you listen to facts and what is fable, what is important, what is not important, what is the main thing and what is the supporting detail. So the end product of spending more time, sleepless hours, or study activity than necessary. This eventually leads to breakdown, diminishing returns, and utter confusion during examination itself. So even as you prepare or as you read your material, we don't expect you to be writing as you are reading. We don't expect you to write everything. Just write the main thing. What's more important? The other supporting details, you can always supply it when you are writing exam. So look at this self-assessment now. You discover that somebody is messing up with this annotation. Please keep your hand away from your computer because you are messing up the system. Just keep your hands off the system. Just listen. I'm sure you can't hear me. So if you keep messing up the class, you are distracting yourself and you're distracting others. Keep your hands away from the computer so that you don't end up pressing what you're not supposed to press. Thank you. Okay, so we said, which of the following is not an important reason for you to be able to determine the main idea in a listening comprehension? So if you know the answer, tick this. Just in the chat box, you could just respond. I don't want to unmute you people because if I do that, this class will be very rowdy. We will not hear ourselves. So that's why I had to mute all of you. So if you know the answer to this question, just put number 1, put a tick if you think that is the answer. And if number 1 is X, put an X there. So tick correct if the purpose of determining the main idea, and put X if it is not the purpose of determining the main idea. Number 1, to be able to eliminate minor points. So what's the essence of putting down the main ideas? Is it to eliminate minor points? Is it for, if you know the answer to this self-assessment, please just put it in the chat box so that we'll see it. Thank you. So I will just go. So now let's discuss. Do not start reading this. Okay. Let me just go to the main point. Now let's look at determining the main idea. There are many ways speakers or lecturers can convey main ideas. We will bring only a few of them in this section. As you practice to recognize main ideas from lectures, more ways will become clear to you. The first is number 1, by announcing the main ideas in the title of the talk or lecture. For example, when I started this class now, I started by saying that this is GST101 class, and today we'll be looking at listening for main ideas. So you will listen when somebody is, if you are listening to a talk or a lecture or a speech, you will listen for the announcement of the title. In some cases, the title of the talk or lecture may give you the main idea of what you will hear in the lecture or talk. This is not always so. A speaker may want to captivate you and take you by surprise by not giving you the main idea of the lecture in the title. In fact, the title of the lecture may at first seem not relevant to the lecture. It is only when you start following the lecture that the relevance of the title to the lecture may start to unfold to you. So some lecturers may decide to take you by surprise. They may not even tell you the title. Some may start with a story. So it is, some may even give a title, but it will not make sense. But it is when you go along, you now say, oh, that is when you now understand the relevance of maybe the lecture or the title given. So the next thing, how we are looking at how do we determine the main ideas? How we have said that identify the title. And if you cannot identify the title, just pay attention to where the lecture is going, to the emphasis of the lecture or the talk or the speech. So the second one is calling attention to the main idea in the body of the lecture or the talk. The speaker may deliberately call attention to main ideas in the body of the lecture or the talk. You may discover that the speaker continues to use the words or expressions such as, let's go to the point, the crucial idea we are grappling with is, the most important point is, the first point is, the second point is, lastly, finally. All these are calling your attention to the main part of the talk. Like this lecture, that when I started, I said, let's delve into, so you know that's taking you to the main part of the lecture. So if you do this exercise, though we don't have the CD, but you will see from that, if we had the CD, you would have seen the transitions from the first thing to the second thing, and so on and so forth. Now, the third one, in when we want to determine main idea, is by constant repetition. Some speakers structure their talks or lecture in such a way as to give room for repetition of the main ideas in various ways. Instead of consciously or directly drawing attention to the main ideas through pointers like firstly, secondly, they do so by means of repetition. Like me now, from this class now, you can see I've been repeating. If I say something, I will go back and say, we are determining the main idea. So that's another way a lecture or a speaker may decide to show the emphasis or the main point of a talk or a lecture or a speech. They say it once and say it again to drive home the major points. You should know that points that are stressed or emphasized are relevant points. So take note of that. So the number 4 is by identifying the speech pattern of the speaker. This is the last point we are going to discuss regarding the way to determine the main idea of a talk or a lecture. As you listen to a speech, it is possible to start to observe the pattern of the speaker in the following way. Different speakers have different speech patterns. The most common one, however, is for the main point to be given first in form of a topic sentence and be followed by supporting sentence or sentences which act as illustrations and expansion of the topic sentence. In some lectures or talks, the speaker may prefer to start with illustrations and supportive details and gradually move to the main point. So what you also have to do is when you listen to lectures or you listen to talk, you have to understand the pattern of the speaker. For some people, they will start by telling you, okay, we want to talk about the causes of sore throat. And then they will start giving you some other sentences to talk about that causes of sore throat. They can say dust, cold. You see, these are all these other things I'm mentioning are like the supporting details. But in some cases, some people may not even start from the main idea. They may start from the supporting details. They can start by saying the dust, cold weather, allergies. You see the way they start with illustrations and examples before they will not say causes of sore throat. So you see some people decide to go with the examples first and illustrations and then finally move to the main point. So whatever works for a speaker, you as a listener should be able to identify the patterns. Okay, so let us move to the next thing. So we have exhausted this unit. You've been able, from what we have discussed, you've been able to identify what it means to identify the main idea in a discussion or in a lecture, in a talk. The more major points or idea you are able to gather from a lecture, the more focused you will become in your study. For example, now the way we started this morning, if you have been attentive, you will be able to point out what is the main idea of this unit. And if you keep paying attention like this, then you not only become more focused, you are very, very likely to pass your exams. Okay? The more irrelevance or rubbish you put down as notes from lectures or talks, the more tedious work you give yourself to do during study and revision. Always insist on main ideas or major points. So when you are jotting down, even as you read your course material, it's not everything you will write. Just find out which one is the main idea. You put it down. For the supporting details, when you go to exam hall, you can develop that one from your brain. So long as you can identify this is the main point, then other supporting details can come as you write. Okay, so let us move to the next topic or unit. So now we're going to be looking at listening for interpretation and critical evaluation. Salami Abiodun, you raised your hand. I will just allow you to speak. What do you have to say? Salami Abiodun.
Yes, ma'am.
Salami,
yes,
go ahead and speak.
Please, yes, ma'am. Some people are unable to join the meeting, ma'am.
Okay. Salami.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are looking at listening for interpretation and critical evaluation. Now, in the previous unit, efforts have been made towards developing listening skills for note-taking, retrieval for general and specific information and main idea. This unit goes to probably the highest order of listening and comprehension activity, which is to interpret, evaluate, and critically analyze speakers' viewpoints while listening. Listening for interpretation and critical evaluation is a type of skills that can enable you to be real master of what the speaker is saying. This type of listening is perhaps the most difficult. Why is it difficult? Because you don't only listen, you listen with the whole of your mind and then try to evaluate what is this person saying. So since it is the highest order of listening activity, only a few students do this. Now I want you to attain this level of listening skill. For example, in your academics, you should be capable of interpreting and evaluating viewpoints or speaker. This is the only way you can grow academically. So now let's go to the main idea. Listening for interpretation and critical analysis. One of the high order skills you need to perform creditably well while listening to a talk or speech or lecture is the skill or ability to interpret a speaker's viewpoint. Interpreting is not as simple as finding or locating general or specific information while listening. Interpretation involves deriving meaning out of what is said. This can be done at two major levels. One, giving the speech the surface and the deeper meaning. Interpretation involves inferencing, thinking between and beyond what has been said. Inferencing means that somebody says something and then you try to guess what the person is saying from what he has not said. Okay? Then thinking in between, as this class is going on now, you are thinking, what is this woman saying? And you are even thinking beyond what I am not even saying. So giving utterance, meaning, and making deduction or observation out of the meaning, as well as establishing trends or recurring patterns out of the observations, are some of the processes involved in interpretation. So critical analysis involves looking at the merits and the demerits of what you have heard. What are the advantages of what you have heard? How does it add or subtract to you? How does it add value? Okay, it is the act of weighing or assessing each point discretely to determine strengths and weaknesses. Critical analysis and evaluation involve passing value judgments, making generalizations, drawing conclusions after careful analysis. So you can see listening for critical evaluation and interpretation goes beyond just getting general gist. Like we said in our previous class, that you can just listen just to get the general information. But in this case now, it goes beyond that. You have to like synthesize, like what is the strength, what is the weakness, what value judgment, what are the conclusions that can be drawn from what I am listening to. So this self-assessment, you will do it by yourself. So we can move to if not because the class will be rowdy, I would have loved us to do it together. But we just move to the next thing. Words and expression associated with critical listening or critical analysis, evaluation, and interpretation. It is true that most words and expression can be twisted to meet the demands to critically analyze or evaluate and interpret an interpretation of issues, concepts, or situations. Okay, however, you will agree with me that after going through the second exercise, okay, some words or expression are closely related to language tasks. So we didn't do the first one, so we may not be able to do this together, but you can do it on your own. So what we are saying here is that for words that an expression, there are some words that associated with critical analysis. There are words like the passage that is above. You can see some words here. It says, never seemed like a good idea. This was taken from a listening text or a reading text. Okay, but we are not going to go into all that. But I just wanted to show you some of the words that are used for critical analysis, evaluation, and interpretation. So now let's go to 3.3. It says suggested steps to follow in listening for interpretation and critical analysis. So I can see some people raising up their hands. Let me pause and hear what you have to say. Victor.
Okay, good afternoon,
I
ma.
can see
Can you
you
hear
raising
me?
your hand. What do you want to say?
Yes, good afternoon, ma.
Victor, can you hear me?
Okay, please. I just want. Yes, I can hear you. I
Victor,
don't know if you can hear me now.
and I don't know who this Zoom user is. Zoom user, do you have a name? Please put your name and remove Zoom user so that we can address you properly.
Yes, ma. I have a name. My name is
Zoom user, please put your name, your proper name,
yeah, I will edit
so that
it,
we
ma.
don't call you Zoom user when you have a name.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. I'll do it. Ma, what I wanted
I
to
can't hear what you are saying.
I say what I wanted to say is that I think that you are too fast.
Okay. So if you have any question, you can put it on our chat. I'm going to look at them. Put it on the chat so that I can see. If you have a question, or maybe you need me to explain something, just put it on the chat. And please don't post irrelevant things so that we know what is important. Post things that are important to this class. I'm seeing people posting some links here. Are they really relevant to this class? Okay, so let's continue. Say suggested steps to follow in listening and interpretation and critical analysis. So these are some of the steps, but the order is not, you can follow any order of your choice, but these are just the steps. They are actually subject to modifications, and you can also create your own steps, whatever works for you. So in order to be able to interpret what a speaker says, you must, number one, listen very attentively and fully understand the speaker's point of view. Take down notes on relevant points raised by the speaker. Like, I assume as you're listening to this class now, you're jotting, making some jottings. We said that in our previous class that there's a difference between note-taking and note-making. So I expect you to be taking down notes from this class now. So another way to interpret a speaker or what a speaker is saying is to read deeper meaning to what the speaker is saying. So from all I'm saying now, I expect you to read a deeper meaning to it. For example, you can begin to visualize using some of the skills I'm teaching you in your own personal reading. Then relate what the speaker says with what you understand it to mean, and use your background knowledge of the issue, the situation, or concept being discussed to give surface and deeper meaning to what is said. So in order for you to be able to listen and critically evaluate, so this one we looked at now is for interpreting what a speaker is saying. Now we want to go to how do we listen to critically evaluate. The first is like the other one, that like it is for interpretation. You have to listen. If you don't listen attentively, there is no way you're going to interpret anything anybody is saying. There is no way you can even evaluate when you have not heard, when you don't listen. Then the next thing is you have to take down notes. Your brain is not a computer. So if you don't jot down, you will not remember everything. So, but when you make, and we say this jotting does not have to be, writing irrelevant things. Just what is the main idea. We have said that. Then consider the strength and the weakness. Like this class we are having now. What do you think is the strength of the class? And the weakness. For some of you are saying, oh, I can't really hear you. That may be the weakness. Okay, or some other weakness that you have. Okay, it says use your previous experience of the issue being discussed and relate such an experience with what the speaker has said. For example, use your own personal experience, maybe for those of you that have maybe married and with children, where your child was talking to you, we're not listening, and then the child asks you a question, or your spouse or your boss or whoever, and they are asking you a question and you don't know what to say because you were not listening. So you could use your own previous experience and then relate it to what the speaker is discussing. So these are ways in which you critically evaluate. Then contribute suggestions, modifications, or innovations that can improve what has been said. So for example, this is our class that we are having now. What are some of the suggestions that you would have given to if someone is to critically evaluate? What are modifications? What are some other creative ways of critically evaluating a lecture, talk, or speeches? So we have another self-assessment here, which you are going to do on your own. So I wish I could entertain question here, but I've been asking you people to unmute and talk. Nobody is saying anything. So I'm going to take another person. Let's hear from you, because the classes were supposed to have a feedback to be sure that you understand what we have been talking about. So Charles Mark Anthony, can you hear me? Charles Mark Anthony. Umaka Sylvester.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
These people that are raising their hands. Oloyede Olumide Ebenezer. Oloyede.
Hello,
Oloyede, if you can hear me, please go ahead and ask your question. Your hands are raised.
yes, ma'am. I'm not asking a question. I'm trying
Oloyede,
to
can you hear me?
I can hear you, ma. Can you hear me? Hello, ma.
Olamide Oloyede Ebenezer.
Hello, ma. Can you hear me?
Okay. So I'll just take it to mean you don't have a question. So we'll go to effective reading. So when we say effective reading, what does that mean? Oluwasegun Olanipekun. Oluwasegun. Okay, so let's go to effective reading then. Now, the importance of reading, an important aspect that you use English for. Oh my God, Jesus. Hello, class. Hello. Sorry, I've been talking, but nobody is hearing me. I've seen the reason now. Hello, class.
Yes, ma, we can hear you.
We can hear you,
Class.
ma.
Sorry, I just
We can
Good
hear you.
afternoon, class.
I hear you, ma. I hear you.
Very far.
We are very far.
We can hear you clearly.
Hear you, but
Can
you
you
are
hear
very
me now?
We can hear
Yes,
you,
ma,
Yes,
ma.
we can hear you.
You clearly.
I've been talking. Did you hear anything I had to say?
yes, ma. We are
Yes,
very
yes. We can hear you, ma.
I can hear you.
Hear what I said about the main
Yes,
ideas?
ma. We can hear
Yes,
I
Because I just realized
sorry, I
I
didn't
couldn't
hear
hear
you.
you.
I didn't hear
You
much.
can't stop now.
We
It's
heard
just
all
that
those
you're
ones.
too
That
fast.
says we can't hear.
Ma, why not, ma?
it's
Okay.
okay. Let's stop the noise. It's okay. We
So
can
can
hear
we
you.
continue?
Yes, you're too
Continue
fast.
now,
Yes,
please.
continue.
Because I
You're
just
too
told
fast. Yeah.
You can continue.
okay, thank you. So when you want to talk, so I can see Oluwasegun Olanikan.
Hear you, ma.
Do you have something to say? I can see you, your hand is raised.
We can hear you, ma. We can hear you.
Okay then, so let's continue our class. So we are looking at effective reading. Effective reading. And I said that an important aspect that you use English for in your program is to read books, articles, newspapers, and your study texts and other materials that can give you useful information. Frequently, you would be asked to read a book for a particular purpose. So it may be valuable for the ideas or views that it puts forward. So reading, you can't run away from reading. As a student, you have to read. Even if you are not a student, you have to read. If you buy a new gadget in your house, you have to read the manual to know how to use that gadget. So reading is very important. You can't run away from it. And now that you are even studying, you are doing GST101, it's very important to teach
Mute your mic now.
to read
Mute.
effectively. So I will mute everyone because some people are talking again. Thank you. After the class, we'll make room for contributions and questions. But for now, let me just have the class peacefully. So you read to gain knowledge of what is happening around you. Not being able to read is to be ignorant of the happenings, events, situations, and developments around you. Like this saying, that there was this thing that some people said that if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a text, put it in a pen and paper, they will not read it. I'm not sure that is true with you. So books enlighten you and make you intelligent. There are people that have never traveled outside this country, but they can tell you what is happening in other parts of the world. It's from reading. So it's very important we read. So it exposes you to various experiences of life and enrich your understanding of the world around you. You also read to collect facts that can be useful for you in your academic life. Such facts are in form of data, explanation, reports, findings, laws, and so on. The facts are also stored in different forms. Some of these are in form of words, tables, charts, diagrams, formula, and pictures. So reading can be for pleasure too. Some of you like to read novels. Some of you like to read documentaries, biographies, and so on. So many studies have shown that Nigerians have not formed the habit of wide informative reading. We don't like reading, except maybe for our textbooks, that's what we read. But for informative purpose, we don't like. If it's not necessary, people will not read. And that's a bad culture. Reading culture is yet to be our culture in Nigeria. Many read only when they are forced to read, when they are preparing for exam. Like some of you now, if I say, let me ask, how many of you have read this course material before the class? You will discover that many people did not read before coming to class. So let us form this habit of reading. Read ahead of every class. They read for examination or just academic purpose. They are weak in reading for pleasure. Do you know what? Reading is like a medicine. It heals souls, it enlivens minds, and it also makes you feel better. So it's not just music that makes you feel good, that makes you relax. Even reading can actually make you feel good. So so you can see this study. Say, rate yourself. I want us to do this exercise. So rate yourself on the scale presented here to show how important reading is to you. The rating scale is 0 for situations that are not applicable to you, while 1 for just poorly applicable, 2 fairly applicable to you, and 3 highly applicable. I read for pleasure every day. Which one is your own? Okay, I hate reading. I would like to hear your comments. Please, can you put your answer in the chat box? Those of you that hate reading. Somebody has ticked, I hate reading. I would like to know this student. Somebody about I read, oh. I read for exam only. Who is this student that reads for exam only? Let me see you. I read, please, I would like to see your comments. Who reads for exams only? Somebody said, okay, I read a complete book a day. Okay, I read a complete book a week, and so on. So you can just honestly assess yourself, and you just, for somebody said, I read newspapers daily, and you have all that. Okay, that's okay. Let's not get clumsy here. Let's not get clumsy. That's okay. That's okay. We have 500 people, and we cannot afford to mess up my screen. That's okay. That's okay. You can stop your comments now. Stop the annotation, please. Stop the annotation, please. Please, let's stop the annotation. So you are to respond honestly. Do you actually read every day? Be honest. Do you read for pleasure every day? Many do not do so. This is because they have not seen the importance of reading. There was this quote I saw in the library, my library, and it says that he who can't read but refuse to read is not different from he who cannot read. Let me say it again. He who can read but does not read is not different from he who cannot read. So if you can read, please read. Don't only wait for exams. Read. Just create this desire for reading. It's a good habit that you can cultivate. Remember, reading must be a pleasurable activity for you. So you do this on your own. Please, let's stop the annotation so that we don't make a mess of our screen. Thank you. Thank you, please. Please stop this, stop the annotation, please. Okay, so like I said, so we are done with that. Now let's look at how do we read effectively. Some suggestions are given on how to read. Number 1, decide the purpose of reading a book, article, newspaper, or any other reading material. Note that there is no same purpose for reading all materials. Some of the different reasons why you read are listed below. Number 1, to find some information quickly. Why do we read? So one of the ways that can help you be an effective reader is to get information. You read because you want to get an answer. Maybe you want to understand something that is difficult, a difficult concept. You read to find meaning of words, maybe a concept or a diagram. You read to analyze a particular concept. You study a concept intensively. For example, somebody was telling me yesterday that he was doing a study on first class students. What about them? So you too can do your own study. You can decide to go and research on why are people getting third class? Why are people getting pass? Why are people failing? You can decide to go and do an intensive study on that. Okay, so people study to gain a general overview of a particular idea. People read to critically assess a point of view. People read for pleasure, entertainment. You can read. It's not only when you are watching movie that you can entertain yourself. You can also entertain yourself. When you read. So to locate specific information, concept, idea, and for many other reasons. These are the reasons why people read. Your reading speed will vary according to the purpose of reading. For example, if you just want to locate a point or information, you will skim or scan. We're going to explain what skimming and scamming mean later on in this lecture. So people read for various reasons, and it depends on what your purpose of reading is. People may just want to skim or scan through the passage to locate such information. If your purpose is to study the concept thoroughly, your reading speed will be slow. So if you are reading, maybe you just want to quickly get something, maybe a definition of something, maybe you are writing an assignment and you quickly want to get a definition, you skim. And then your reading speed will be very fast. But if you are reading, maybe you need to really understand the concept. Maybe you have read it, you didn't really understand, then you read at a slow pace, and then you will scan. There's something we call scanning, which I said we are going to look later on at in the course of this lecture. So this is another self-assessment. Now it says tick when reading speed, which reading speed you will use when performing the following tasks. For example, if you are locating the scores of football match in a newspaper, will you read it very slow, average, or high? When you are preparing for exam, what type of reading will you do? Is it the slow one or the fast one? If you read fast for exam, you will fail. It's not a course. You are supposed to take your time and really read thoroughly for exams. So when you are writing your assignments, which type of reading will you do? Is it slow or fast or average? Of course, it will not be fast, it will be slow, so that you get the point. Then if you are a lawyer, you are preparing a case, which type of reading will you do? Is it a fast reading or slow reading? If you have a lot of, you need to get a lot of data, of course you have to read fast because you need to, and you have a limited time. Okay, if you are a medical doctor looking for a particular medicine to use for a patient, okay, you have to be fast because the patient, many other patients are waiting for you. How about engineering drawing? It has to be slow. Studying a particular nursing course. For those of you in nursing, when you are studying your course, will you study it fast or slow? You study it slow. Then when you are locating the date of a book, that will definitely be fast. It won't be slow. Deciding whether to read a book or not. So these are some of the reading tasks. Now, so let us go to the next one. I said decide what to read. You know, the first one I said what is the purpose for what you are reading. The next one is to decide what to read. In effective reading, you must always decide not only the purpose of reading, but what you want to read. It is rarely necessary to read a whole book, except a novel, which is to be read for pleasure. A good starting point is to look at the content page at the front of the book to decide the relevant chapters or pages that are to be read. A quick look at the chapter headings and subheadings may help to indicate what should be read, and the index at the back of the books may indicate the relevant portion of the book that can be read. So what we are saying is here is that you are the one to decide, what do I want to read? What do I want to, like some of you are ardent lovers of newspapers, but I'm sure it's not the whole newspaper you read. You select what you read. Some of you go for sports section in the newspaper. Some of you go to editorial. Some of you go to maybe writings on health. It's not everything you will read. Some of you go to where they do all the gossip, the gist. So nobody will ask you to be reading the whole book, except if you are reading a novel. That one you are reading for pleasure. So usually what we do, like for what we do when you are reading, when you get the book, the first thing you do is to turn to the back of the book to read the summary of the book. What's this book all about? After looking at the title, you go to the back of the book and check it out. What's What's this book all about? At the back, usually you have the summary of the book, and then you can decide whether you want to read it or not. But I want to warn you, your course material is not something you decide whether you want to read or not. You have to read it. It's very, very important to do so. So I would like you to take this self-assessment yourself, and it will help you. So number 3, we said get the overview of what is to be read. I've said that already. General overview of the book can be found at the back of the book. It usually gives you a summary of the reading material or the introduction. It gives you the direction of the book and can give you impression about how relevant the book is. Another thing you can also do is to open the first, if you check the back, maybe after reading the summary, you are not really convinced, you can read the preface. There is the first part of the book. When you open the first page, second page, you see maybe something that somebody has written concerning the book. Sometimes they try to sell the book. Okay, so that will also give you a guide whether it's a good book to read or not. But let me emphasize what I said earlier on. Your course material is not something you decide whether to read or not. You have to read it if you want to pass GST101. Another courses that you may be doing, ensure you read the course materials very well. That is why we are teaching you reading, effective reading. So please apply it when you finish. Once we finish our discussion today, go and apply everything you have been taught. Now, ask yourself specific questions connected with the material in order to focus on what you are reading. You see, the way the human mind is wired, if you are not careful when you are reading, you may be tempted, your mind may wander, or you even feel like sleeping. I would have loved to listen to you people. Some people, once they start reading, that is sleeping time. That is when the nature, even if they slept all through the night, the moment they pick a book to read, then they start to doze off. So one of the ways to stop that from happening to you is to write when you are reading. That's the secret to reading. So you should endeavor to as you are reading, write down some questions. Ask yourself some specific questions. You should endeavor to answer the guiding question as you go along in your reading. If you make notes as you read, like I told you earlier on, you will be able to answer the questions, the relevant questions, more accurately. Your notes will assist you to focus on what you are reading. So when you are reading, you don't want to sleep. Get a paper. Like after now, you are going to be reading your course material. Get a piece of a jotter. Jot down the main points. In that way, the reading becomes creative, and you will not doze off, or you will not get bored. That's times that when you are reading, especially technical aspects, and you don't really understand, there is a tendency that you may just feel tired, bored. But when you start jotting, you will not be bored and you will understand what you are reading. So we are through with this unit, effective reading. And if you put everything that is suggested in this unit into practice as you go through the subsequent units under reading comprehension, I can say that you will read efficiently. Let me warn you, you will sooner or later find out that you have a lot to read and only a limited time to read them. If you know this, it is important for you to read as quickly as possible. Part of the training in this course is how to increase your reading speed without loss of comprehension. So as students, you know that you have a limited time, you have a lot of things to read. So one of the things we are teaching you here is the ability to read very fast. And as you are reading very fast, you also comprehend. So it's not just reading for reading's sake. You may have read maybe 2 hours of reading, and then they ask you, what have you read? You don't know. That's not the type of reading we are saying. Reading so much in the little time you have, and then even the ability to comprehend what you have read. So we'll go to the last unit or so for this our today's class. We'll be looking at skimming and scanning. Skimming and scanning. Please, somebody is touching the annotation. Please, could you please just stop that? You are making a mess of the screen. Okay? So we are going to be looking at, we said in Unit 3, you were taught what effective reading entails. That's what we just finished talking about now. You learned that flexibility in reading makes you an effective reader. You should control your reading speed according to the purpose of reading. And we have told you different types of reading. We told you slow, average. We are still going to talk more on that as we continue in this course. But we have, from the self-assessment we did earlier on, I told you and I asked you that if you are reading for exam, what kind of reading will you do? Is it the slow one or the fast one? And we discovered that for exam purpose, you won't be read too fast, because if you read too fast, you may not get the main ideas. So you take your time and make sure you, as you read, you take note of the main ideas so you can do well in your exam. So in this unit, we'll be looking at what we call skimming and scanning. These are types of reading. They are associated with reading. So there are two related reading skills that are useful for pleasure and academic purpose. One is for pleasure, one is for academic purpose. But the good thing is that you can interchange them where necessary. So what is skimming? You will recognize three main reading subpurposes. The slowest speed is what you may call study speed for proper understanding of what you read. At this reading level, you are expected to have high level of concentration and high level of understanding. So your attention should go to details in the reading passage. These details are to be remembered. Next reading speed is the one usually called average reading speed. This speed you should use for books or reading materials that are important and require intensive reading and comprehension, but are easier than textbooks. So like I said, if you are reading this course material, the type of reading that is recommended is slow reading. Okay? So, but if you are reading other material that are equally important, but they are easier to understand compared to textbooks. You know, textbooks, they do a lot of definition, there are a lot of concepts, so you really have to take your time. It's not something you will rush to read. If you rush to read it, you will not understand anything. Like this course material now, if you say, is it not GST101, let me just rush, you will not understand it. But if you take your time, our time is fast going, so let me rush. So a large number of novels are read at average speed. So those novels you read them at average speed, depending on the enjoyment obtained from them. The last reading speed, which is concern of this section, is what we call the fastest reading speed. So skimming is the fastest reading speed. This reading speed is used when you do not need high level of concentration. When you need high level of comprehension, concentration, you do slow reading. When the intensity is not too much, you can read very fast and at the same time you understand. That's what we call average reading. But when you know that you need to read at very high level, and at that high level, you can understand what you know, when I talk about reading like, you see, as we progress, you will see you can read like 300 words in a minute or two. You understand? That's what we are talking about. High reading, very fast. And when you read this fast, you understand what you have read. So skimming is used to get general idea, impression, overview, or gist of the reading material. So skimming is what you do if you just want to quickly get a general overview. You quickly skim through. So skimming requires rapid reading, which is often used when you want to obtain ideas quickly. So we don't have time to practice this. Our time is fast spent. So I'm just going to quickly run along. So you can please ensure you do it yourself. The illustrations are there, the answers are there. You can see it says, how many minutes did it take you to complete the reading passage? If it took you 3 minutes, then you are not skimming any longer. Do you see it? So you can see this passage now, the passage that they gave above now. If it took you 3 minutes to read it, that is not skimming. You should be able to read it in less than 1 minute. That one, you read very fast. So the idea is just to get, what is this passage all about? Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is scanning. Some people use skimming and scanning interchangeably, but they are not the same. We take scanning to mean screening the passage very rapidly to locate important information within a large chunk of reading materials. In such a reading activity, you search through the passage to locate information. In scanning, the eyes are not necessarily moving from left to right. So in skimming, your eyes are moving rapidly, very fast. But in scanning, your eyes are moving, you are trying to get the main information. So they may move left and right, top to bottom, across the passages, north to south part of the passage, to locate the specific information you are searching for. So because of time, I would have loved us to do this together. They say indicate whether you need to skim or scan the suggested reading task. So you see, please do it on your own. Do it on your own. It's not a big deal. So skimming and scanning are two related rapid reading activities. You should see them as an interesting activities to be performed daily. Do you know what? You need to acquire lots of information daily. The series of exercise in this unit will prepare you for daily information gathering. So please, don't say that now that the course is facilitator wants to end because that's all, you close the book and go. Go ahead, do the self-assessment. They will help you, they will guide you. Please ensure you do them. I think that's what we have for today. In our next class, we'll go into reading speed. They are varying speed. We have started already, but when we come in our next class, we'll be delving deep to see the type of reading speed that we have. But don't forget what we have learned today. We have learned main ideas. How do we get the main ideas in a reading or a listening text, listening comprehension? We have talked about effective reading. Okay, and lastly, we looked at the activity necessary or required in reading, which is skimming and scanning. And I said that skimming is usually very fast. In skimming, for example, you read a big chunk of material in very short minutes, okay? Or scanning, you do that because you are trying to sift to get information. For example, when you read a passage and then you are asking questions, maybe after reading the passage and then they are asking you, what is this, what is that? You go back to the passage to sift out the answers. So that's what skimming and scanning is all about. So in the remaining minutes that we have, I would like to entertain your questions. If you have a question, please just unmute and speak. But let's do it in an orderly manner.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank God. Is that Thank God talking or Mr.
Yes, yes, ma. Yes, I'm the one.
Okay, Thank God. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for the lectures. I do enjoy it. Now, my question goes like this.
Okay.
You talk about slow reading and scanning, and now, in terms of our exams, how will you go through the
Please,
research and other things?
Can you go to
Man, about their skimming and stuff.
Okay, for skimming and scanning for exams.
No,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still continuing. Sorry, please.
So you see,
Can
let Thank God talk. Or Thank God, you know what? You see, everybody is talking now. So
Oh
this is
my
what I
God.
will do. I'm going to mute you all and then allow the person that has something to say.
Yes, yes.
Nice then.
That you can unmute and talk. Thank God.
Okay, thank you, ma.
Yes.
My question is not much. It's regarding the kind of reading we do during the exams. I have
Okay.
asked some seniors of our colleagues, that is, how do they go about their reading during the exams? And some
Okay.
of them that is the exam is garbage in, garbage out. Someone like me, I like reading, then comprehend, then explored by my own understanding. But they're like, it's what that we discover in the handout that will give them. If you go out of the handout, they won't mark it right for you.
Okay.
So I was like, yes, ma.
Okay, thank God. Let me quickly respond to that question. You see, for you in GST101 and I think 100 level and 200 level, your questions are computer based, and these questions are drawn from your course material. So that's your suggestion of saying that you want to like read outside the text, the course material. For exam purpose, I would say you stick to your course material, you follow the course material, because you know computer is what you give computer will give you. So if the answer is A and it has been instructed to say A is the answer, and you decide to like kind of trick your answer, you will not get the answer. So please, for the purpose of exams, and since because it is computer based, you may have to stick strictly to your course material. But that is not to say, today we have talked about reading. And I want to say this course that I'm teaching you is not necessarily just for GST101. It's something you apply to life, in life. Beyond here, now, I'm sure if by the time you finish this course, you may want to go for a postgraduate program, you may want to study something else. So this course will help you. So it's not just limited for GST101, just write exam, pass and go. No, the knowledge you acquire here, you can apply it to wherever, whatever aspect of life where you need to read. So that's that. But for the purpose of exam, like I said, just stick to the course material.
All right. The question is well answered, because someone like me, like I said earlier, it's good to read broad and then use the knowledge.
Yes, it
but
is.
since it's for the purpose of exams, I think we have to adhere to it. Thank you very much.
So I will just take one more question. It's already 1 o'clock, and I believe some other people have maybe they have a class. People may have class they want to. So I just ask Samson. Samson, do you have something to say? Samson, Ebi Pade, Kelly. Samson, please quickly ask your question. It's already past 1. Some people may have class after now. Okay, Samson does not have anything to say. So let me just take one more. Let's be gender sensitive. Let me take a lady now. Let me. Adeyemi Adeola Okpeyemi. Can you speak? Adeyemi.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm sure you are a lady. That voice sounds like a lady's voice. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A lady, ma'am. Good afternoon,
Okay,
ma'am.
so go ahead. Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the class, ma'am. Actually, I quite understand. Well, I joined a bit late because there was a ban lifted on us. Just about 5,000 when I joined. I think someone left and I quickly joined. So many of us were not able to join the class. Many of us were so many
Okay, but the
that we
ban
could
has
not
been
join.
lifted. I'm seeing about over 900 students are online. So unlike the previous class.
Yeah, that was, I think that's about 10 minutes towards the ending of the class.
Sorry about that.
Yes, ma'am. So many of us could not join.
Okay, the thing is that you can always access the recorded the record of this class in your portal. So just go to your portal, you see the records, and then you can listen to the class.
It's not. I quite know where to go to the portal. I can do that. So many of us, not every one of us know how to access that portal.
Okay.
So we'd like you to please, maybe the directors at the now
the thing is that you would have to right now. I may not be able to do that, but you maybe meet your coordinators in your centers to help you to do that.
All right. All right.
Okay, so I don't want to some other people have class by 1, so I don't want us to encroach. We've already done that already, so we'll have to end the class now. So have a nice day, everyone.